My Instagram account is dead and it just won't grow. Sound familiar? This is exactly how I felt about 2 years ago when my Instagram account was literally stuck at 20,000 followers, and no matter what I tried, it just wouldn't budge. If I was starting a brand new Instagram account in 2025, literally starting from zero, this is exactly what I would do. So let me ask you an honest question, right? Do you feel like your Instagram account is either dead or dying a slow death? If you said yes, there are tens of thousands of other entrepreneurs, creators, social sellers, what have you, that could relate to exactly how you're feeling. In today's YouTube video, I want to share the 3 simple steps I would suggest when starting from scratch a brand new Instagram account. Well, what's up? Coach Fryer here. I'm just a faith-driven Instagram and business coach who has generated over $4.2 million leveraging social media to grow and scale my business. Today, I'm going to share exactly what I would do if I had to start over from scratch on Instagram. Let's dive in. I want to be sure you stay until the very end of this video as well, because I'm going to share with you the one thing that's going to help you grow fastest on Instagram. All right, so let's first start with what I want to call a bonus before we even get to those 3 things. Write this down in your notes. Start with the end in mind. You see, when it comes to starting from scratch or relaunching an Instagram account, the first thing most people think of is what type of content do I need to create? And then they start Googling, and then they use ChatGPT, and they go down the rabbit hole of trying to create all these different types of content. And 9 times out of 10, to heck with that. 10 times out of 10, all that leads to is frustration and being overwhelmed. Maybe you can relate. When you start with the end in mind, what you're doing is you're starting with the end goal, the end vision for what it is you actually want to do and create. And then you just simply work backwards. You need to ask yourself questions like, what is the end goal? I mean, just getting followers and just selling a product or a service isn't good enough. I mean, where do you see yourself in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? What does a typical ideal day in the life of you look like? This is exactly what I mean when I say start with the end in mind. Once you have the end in mind defined, then you can start working backwards and build your strategy, your framework, your plan around it. All right, let's dive into these 3 tips. Again, if you're starting from scratch an Instagram account in 2025, I'm going to share with you exactly what I would do first. Number 1, start with the who. Who do I ideally want to serve? Who do I ideally want to attract? Don't think of, growing to 5,000, 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 followers. Think more so of the ideal person. So even if you only grew to 100, 200, 500, 1,000 followers who were your ideal, perfect clients or customers, that they would be buying your stuff like crazy. Who is that person? The next who you need to ask yourself is, who am I? Who am I? What do I stand for? What do I represent? How do I want to be seen in the marketplace? And the last who is, who do I need to now become in this process to serve those people, to create the vision that I casted before this whole thing started? So again, if you feel like your Instagram account is dying or dead and you feel like you need to just start from scratch, where should you get started, right? You need to start with the who. The second thing is now what I call the what. What things do I need to do now to put in place in order to get this account off the ground, take it from dying to thriving, right? Where do I even start? Here's where you should start. When it comes to the what, you need to make sure that you have a professional account on Instagram, all right? Here's what you need to write down in your notes. Write down the word insights. Insights are going to be critical to what you do day in and day out to ultimately grow your account. Without the numbers, without the data, just throwing mud on a wall, that's what most people are out there doing, and why they're not seeing results, why their account is dead or dying, is because they're not paying attention to the analytics. The insights are going to be the foundation for everything you do moving forward to grow your Instagram account. Once you create the Instagram account, next you need an actual content strategy. And what I suggest doing first is literally the very first day you start an account from scratch on Instagram, or you restart an account or relaunch, you want to make sure that you have anywhere from 6 to 9 reels or posts already done that you can preload or do them that very day, so that Even if you don't have any followers yet, when people come to your account, there is some content for them to start engaging and participating with. Then from that foundation, you can then build out a content strategy. And what I suggest to all of my clients is to go what I call on a 30-day blitz. What does that look like? Just my simple suggestion. It would look something like this. Create 60 reels over the course of 30 days. Yes, I know that's a lot, but what you're working and trying to do is put out as much content in a short amount of time. I call this compressing time. You're going to put out a lot of content that is going to ideally attract, serve, help, educate, and eventually bring to you, right, in the form of new followers, your ideal new client, follower, customer, business partner. After you complete that 30-day blitz, you're now going to have a ton of content. You're going to be able to now do what? Go back and look at the data, look at the insights, and figure out exactly what worked and what didn't. And then from that point forward, whatever your content strategy is, let's just say it's 1 reel a day or 3 to 5 reels a week or 2 carousels a week or whatever that strategy then is at that point, you're going to be able to look back at your first 30 days and say, well, this is the type of content that performed best. I'm going to take these 2 or 3 or 4 topics that perform best and now create lots of content for the rest of the year for this account. Lastly, number 3, I want to talk about the how. Right? So far we've talked about, of course, the bonus, start with the end in mind. But number 1, we talked about the who. Second, we talked about the what. Now let's dive deeper into the how. This is where a lot of entrepreneurs and creators get caught up in the how, right? How do I get more engagement? How do I get people to actually follow me? How do I generate sales from my reels, from my carousels, from my stories? Even if I was starting an account from absolute zero, starting from scratch today, like literally had to wipe everything out and start from scratch today, I would absolutely 100% have some sort of platform, some sort of tool, some sort of DM automation in place so that I could start creating engagement and have a lot of that automated literally from the start. That could look as simple as me creating a free Google Doc with some free, valuable, helpful tips and information. It could be creating a PDF or a Canva doc. It doesn't need to be anything fancy, but I would absolutely create something free and of value, right? I'm a big believer in you must first give before you receive. And so again, you're starting from scratch. You want to start earning the trust of your ideal potential new followers. What's the best way to do that? The best way is to just give. And I highly recommend that you have some sort of DM automation to be able to deliver all of this stuff to your new Instagram followers almost immediately. The resource that I use is called Self-Made. You can check out the link down below in the description. Go to coachfryer.com/scale and you can try that tool out for 14 days. It's the only tool that I recommend for myself and of course all of my clients. I want to share just a couple of quick additional tips when it comes to the how. Write this down in your notes. Write down, my best teacher was my last mistake. I already know you're going to get so caught up in figuring out all the intricacies of launching and growing and scaling your Instagram account. But if you'll focus less on the mistakes and just focus on the actual activity, I promise you your account is going to grow much faster. Just start creating. So I just talked a little bit about exactly what I would do if I was starting a brand new Instagram account in 2025, or if my account was dying or dead, and exactly what I would do to reignite it. But now here's where you come in. What questions do you personally have about your dying or dead account that maybe I can circle back around and create more great content for you here on YouTube? Let me know in the comments. And oh yeah, remember that one thing that I talked about in the beginning of this video that I wanted to share with you to help you grow this brand new Instagram account even faster? Check out this video right here. It's one I recently made on my top 13 tips to help you grow the absolute fastest on Instagram. As always, if helpful, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and smash that subscribe button. God bless you, your families, and your business. We'll see you next week.